During my midlife crisis Genshin arc that I no longer want to remember, I started working on a video titled Risk vs Reward, in which I would have talked about maximum health scaling damage dealers. However, once I understood more about how the game works, I went straight to negative 45 sanity and corroded into the skill. I quit the game. This was back in February. Since then, I wanted to adapt this into a Limbus Company video, keeping the name but changing the subject from HP scaling to the Shi Association due to their high risk and reward playstyle. And then even later I wanted to make it about soloing, because since MD4 released I found out that I'm really passionate about role-playing Sisyphus. I like soloing mirror dungeons more than doing it regularly, because it's the only time when I need to use my brain and think about how to progress past this great difficulty spike with what I have and what I know of the mechanics, the enemies, and my singular unit. However, after I posted a solo Dulcinea fight, I realized that the larger part of the Limbus community suffers from terminal skill issue, and I'm not just saying this because I'm tired of being called a lil bro by every Ruina player. The way I play each fight in the story is by only reading what I have to. Usually only after I lose a fight for the first time is when I start looking at the enemy skill descriptions, passives, etc. I haven't had to do this since Railway 3's Pico Trio. And to support my bullshit sounding flex of illiteracy, I uploaded the entire Canto 7 dungeon unlisted and unedited, starting from the end of maintenance and ending with me checking out Don's new base E.G.O voice line. I sometimes hovered over unique status effects, but that's it. I didn't read shit because I didn't need to. The game just isn't that difficult. And this isn't a criticism on my part. I don't want the main story to be difficult to progress, because to me, the Cantos are more about the sinners interacting with one another while some Uncle Kojima level of absurdity happens around us. Other than the context and spectacle of each fight, I don't care for them difficulty-wise. At least not until they get that to empty. Pretty much every fight in Canto 7 was a chain battle, meaning you only had to keep alive a single sinner to progress. Now, I've seen some people say about Dulcinea that they didn't realize that it was a chain battle, which is just a skill issue, I'm not gonna lie, but for the rest of you, I asked this genuinely without any ill intent. What was the holdup? I know I sound like a jerk, but I want to understand the problem so that I can try and help you. MD4 taught people something that works really well in mirror dungeons, but not so great in any other content. Team building around archetypes. Let's say you wanted to run a boys team, as I know they are fairly popular. You would probably run a blade lineage team which overly focuses on pride skills and not much else. Your scene resource pool will be terrible without an E.G.O gift that converts existing or generates new resources. In story fights, not being able to use E.G.O is the biggest debuff you can inflict yourself with, even worse than not reading. Let's take a look at the best E.G.O in the game, Faust's Fluid Sec. Now, despite what some lunatic plushie may tell you about how Supler is clearly, objectively better at everything, probably, I don't know, I don't remember the video at all to be completely honest. The greatest strength Fluid Sec has over everything else in the game is the absurdly high sanity restoration it comes with. Fluid Sec restores the bending on a heads roll 15 to 25 sanity to all allies. This allows you to start fights at a higher sanity after each checkpoint in the story dungeons, but much more importantly, it also allows you to spam E.G.O. Fluid Sec requires a lot of gloom to use, which is why in my illiterate run I had both proper sin resource generations to keep up with the cost, and also I use representation emitter in the early parts of the dungeon to achieve a similar yet much lesser effect. Regular encounters are a joke if you can use AoE without the fear of corroding and murdering your entire team, and in focused encounters, using E.G.O basically guarantees a free clash win if you need one. This doesn't stop me from going nah I'd win just to get hit with a team-wide consequence of my actions, twice. Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer and all that, but you get the point. And even if Fluid Sec can't save you from being a dumbass like me by healing 50% max HP for all allies, you still have 10 to 11 free deaths between checkpoints. Dying should not be an issue, but if you are struggling to stay alive between checkpoints, then one last trick you could use is running Wild Hunt Heathcliff, who can delay the deaths of up to 2 allies each round by a turn. This even works with Shishant, funnily enough. Limbus Company has been out for over a year and a half. The IDs being released are getting stronger and stronger, and even if your gacha luck sucks, you can go to the MD mines to get whatever ID or E.G.O you want, even with seasonal IDs only being shardable a week after they release. Paying $10 for the Battle Pass obviously helps in reducing the grind, but it's completely optional. Not only because of the friend support system, for which here is my code, please, I don't have any friends. but also because the base sinners are powerful enough to beat the game with, though they may require reading. And since you can beat the entire game with only base IDs and E.G.O, except for that one fight, the only thing that can be done if you dislike grinding that much is to understand the game better. E.G.O made some amazing tutorials since the game has a less than ideal one, let's just say that. But if you still feel like you don't understand something, then what I recommend is to try doing a solo run. This can be either Dulcinea, normal mirror dungeon, or even hard mode. Originally this was written before MD5 came out, but I now know that even the new hard mode is still soloable. Just don't go to the heartbreaking without dodge. My greatest achievement in the game was figuring out how to get past Cromer in a solo MD4 hard run due to a guaranteed turn 3 stagger on your single sinner. I read, and you should too. If you want the cheapest and easiest sinner to reliably solo with, look no further than She-Don. She has access to a huge damage reduction from a starter gift, and it also removes all stagger thresholds. But what really breaks the game is that she has access to a dodge. I'm not proud that I managed to beat the Canto 7 dungeon without reading. I'm sad that so many others had this much difficulty finishing it normally. And with that, I'm back to being a Project One YouTuber. So hopefully no more sudden midlife crisis channel changes. When MD5 adds back Starlight, I'll make a dedicated guide to soloing, but currently without the buffs, not many IDs are capable of surviving the later chain battles. If you have any more questions, then please leave a comment. Even if I can't help, I'm certain somebody else will try and help you out. I've been Silver, see you around.